Am I wrong for ending a 20-year marriage because I learned my wife was cheating on me while we were dating? Hey friends, come on in. My name is Mike, and yes, my wife Charlotte does let me out of the basement sometimes. You guys like my new mic? Yeah! Mike got a new mic. Am I wrong for ending a 20-year marriage because I learned my wife cheated on me while we were dating? My wife, 44 female, and I, 43 male, have been married for 20 years. We started dating in high school when I was a junior and she was a senior. We were long distance for her first 2 years of college while I was in high school and did 1 year at community college. Then we went to college in the same city for a year and have lived together since. We got married the summer after I graduated college. Our marriage has been pretty great so far, but I initiated a divorce after I discovered that she was sleeping with multiple other men for the 2 years we were long distance. God damn it! Yeah, no, I don't like this already. I don't like cheating stories. It's scary. Just after Christmas, we got together with a few friends of hers from college to catch up, have dinner, and hang out. We talked about a lot of stuff, and my wife mentioned that we met in high school. Not that we dated, just that we met. That's a red flag. Her old college roommate commented that it was crazy that we met in high school, had a few wild years in college, then ended up together. I played along and commented that I didn't know if my wife was as crazy as I was. The roommate started to tell a story, but my wife cut her off and said she was uncomfortable about it. I sensed something was up, so I said that we actually started dating in high school and were together for my wife's entire time at college. All of my wife's friends got real quiet and the rest of the dinner was awkward. On the way out, one of her roommates took me aside and said I should have an honest conversation about what happened at college. Oh gosh, imagine hearing one of those words from your significant other's friend. You didn't know? Like you didn't know what they did? You should talk to them. It was pretty wild. I asked my wife on the way home and she kind of blew me off. I told her it was important that she was honest with me, and again, she said it wasn't important. When we got home, I told her I was going to stay at my brother's house until she was ready to talk about what happened in college. The next day, she came over and admitted to sleeping with several men in her first 2 years at college. Whoa. Not just one, several. Oh, God. She said she didn't consider it a big deal at the time because we were long distance and she didn't think a high school romance would last. I pressed for more details and she said it was at least 10 different men, including at least 3 guys she introduced to me as friends when I came to visit on weekends, and 1 guy she was still in contact with? Bro, that is not good. She's still talking to the guy. I wonder if you know him. I told her that I wanted a divorce and would be starting the paperwork as soon as I could, which I did on January 2nd. You move fast. I like it. Her family and most of my family is telling me that I shouldn't throw away my marriage over a few mistakes. Few mistakes. Several men. 10 different men. 3 guys she introduced you as friends, assuming when you went to go, oh my God, when you went to go visit her and she introduced you to these guys who she was secretly sleeping with, and the fact that she's still in contact with one, that is insane. Oh, hell no! I've stood by my belief that cheating on me with multiple men for years is unacceptable, no matter when it happened, and the fact that she continued to maintain relationships with these guys right in front of me was unacceptable amount of disrespect. We have 2 children, but they are 17 and 19, and I believe they will understand why I need to end the marriage. Am I wrong for leaving? I feel like I'm going crazy with the amount of people telling me to overlook years of infidelity and decades of lies. When you engage in a relationship with someone, unless it is stated otherwise, like you're in an open relationship or you're polyamorous or something like that, you're monogamous. I mean, you are loyal to each other. And just because you're long distance doesn't mean that you have the ability to sleep with other people. That's wrong. That's a huge breach of trust, especially when you're that young. It doesn't matter when it happens. It's still cheating. And the fact that she never told you about it over 20 years also does not look good on her part. All right, let's go look at some comments to see what people think, because I have my thoughts, but I want to see if everyone else is on my side. She cheated and lied to you, then maintained contact with at least one of her fudge buddies and introduced you to one of the many guys that were her. That is not only dishonest, but cruel. I think you are 100% in the right. Who knows what else she's done? You have no way of knowing. I totally agree, man. The fact that you went over there to visit her presumably. And she's like, hey, yeah, this is my friend Tom. Yeah, we're just friends. But he was secretly sleeping with her. And also, like, F that guy Tom. I don't know why I named him Tom. It's just like a name that I came up with. The fact that she's still in contact with one of the people that she slept with when she cheated on you is absolutely grounds for divorce. At least for a conversation. There's a response to that. Yeah, that's the part that stuck with me the most as well. My marriage ended primarily due to my ex cheating on me. The part that hurt most was that it was with her coworker, someone she made quick friends with and someone who was trying to be friends with me too. We had him and his wife over to hang out and just him over on multiple occasions. Cheating sucks either way, but to be so brazen about it by waving your affair partner in front of your partner's face is something else. Certainly made me feel like a tool. I wish you the best, OP. Don't let anyone tell you it's not so bad because it was a long time ago. She chose to keep it a secret and would have continued doing so. I guess she didn't feel that guilty about it. That's not something that you can trust. I think what makes this the most diabolical is that she still has this person in your life and you've presumably met them.
Yep.
At the very least, if she had any remorse, she would completely go no contact with this person, as she should. But the fact that she's still talking to this man is a big red flag. If she slept around in college and told you about it and you reconciled, no issue there. But she kept it from you. She kept in contact with one. She introduced you to her flings as friends at the time. That's completely messed up. You are right to divorce her. She lied to you for 20 years. She does not respect you now or then. Again, that is the darkest thing. Obviously staying in contact with the one guy, but imagine you're like going to visit her. You haven't seen her in months. You're like, hey, I miss you. I've been so good. And all I've been thinking about is you. Meanwhile, she's like, hey, meet my friend Tom.
Hi, I'm Tom.
Secretly, she's been Tom every single night and doesn't give a shit. God, it makes my heart sink. 10 guys can no longer be described as few mistakes. Yeah, no kidding. 10 guys.
10 guys.
And if she says 10, there's probably more. Like 10 is a huge number, but like that's pretty specific and a nice rounded number. I bet you there's more. And few mistakes. Oh my gosh. The mistake that's happening right now is you're still in this marriage. This is pretty self-explanatory right here. You are not wrong. She cheated, lied, and maintained contact. That's it. How could you possibly be wrong in this situation? Before we keep going, I just wanted to mention that this is a new channel. This is a new thing for me. And if you could hype me up, that would be great. It really helps the reach of new channels. It helps people, new audiences see me and my goofy looking face. So that would mean so much to me. Love you very much. Now back to the video. I've got skill. So we have an edit. Holy shiza, I'm glad I did this with a throwaway because the response here is unexpected. I obviously can't answer every question/comment, but I wanted to provide some detail for common questions. The reason I posted this is that my wife and a few friends have been saying it's common to sleep with other folks when you're in a long distance relationship and that I'm kind of the odd one out for not sleeping around. Who on earth says this? I wouldn't do that. I think most people would agree that that's complete and utter bullshit. Dude, they're gaslighting you. They're gaslighting you, and that's fucked up. The fact that her friends are trying to gaslight you as well is very fucked up. They should be like, wow, that is messed up. It's wrong, and I hope you guys can work it out. I'm sure she's really sorry about it. They shouldn't be like,
yeah, dude, like it's normal. People cheat on each other all the time.
That's so fucking dark. It felt like I was being gaslit. Exactly, you were. But I wanted an outside perspective. We live in a state with a waiting period to finalize a divorce, so I felt it was a reasonable idea to get some insight before things are finalized. After these comments, I see a handful of folks saying it's normal to sleep around during a long distance relationship, but it seems to be a significant minority, a very significant minority. If you ask 20 people, I'd be shocked if one person said that it's okay. I would be shocked. We saw each other a couple weekends a month during the 2-year college period. I lived about 3 hours away from her college, so it was a long distance, but not like cross country. This was not a situation where we went months without seeing each other. The 3 guys I met while she was in college were meetups that happened during parties. The subject of me being a boyfriend didn't really come up, so I honestly don't know if these guys knew anything. So it's all her, right? Yeah, but I don't understand that, because if you went to go visit her and she introduced you to them, was she just like, this is my friend, OP, we're gonna name you Hank? I don't know why. Hank's a funny name. Henry? This is my boyfriend, Henry. Did she just say like, this is my friend to you? Like referring to you? I feel like the boys must have clued in a little bit. So I don't know if I buy the fact that they're completely innocent in this. The one guy we're still in contact with Married a mutual friend from college. This is not some guy she secretly messages on the side. It's someone we've talked to regularly for years.
Oh, no.
I've talked to him a few times since I've learned about my wife. He said he didn't know we were dating at the time and has since blocked my wife on social media. The fact that he blocked her at this stage in their lives says a lot about her. I'm curious. But if you talk to them regularly now in your life, you don't think that this has come up? I don't know. I don't know if I buy this guy's innocence. Any of these guys' innocence. But at least he blocked your wife. At least he's taking action and remorse, and he feels bad. It sounds like he has some remorse. Some folks have asked how the roommates didn't realize at our wedding that the timelines didn't work out. The main reason is that my wife and I had a very small ceremony with just close family in Texas and then went back to the East Coast to have a big party with friends. The typical reception sharing details about how we met stuff didn't really happen. So her roommates didn't realize we started dating before college. It sounds like they thought we only dated for the year we were both in the same city, then moved in together. I was open to therapy or some kind of attempt to save the marriage, but her insistence that this whole thing is common and that I'm the one who's out of line is just too much for me. That's the problem, bro. If she has no remorse and no ability to take any accountability, was that English? I don't know.
What an idiot!
That's a problem for me. The only time she showed any remorse or even offered to reconcile is when I started filing paperwork. In the last week, she's gone back to saying she's right and I'm overreacting. This is also why I'm feeling like I'm being gaslit. It seems obvious that this is a major issue, but I've got my wife and others telling me it's normal and I'm overreacting. Yeah, it's weird that everyone else is saying that you're overreacting. She must be a very manipulative person. She sounds a little cray-cray, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not getting a paternity test unless my kids want to get one. Whoa, I didn't even think about that. I don't have any doubts that they are biologically mine and no test will make them not my kids. I love them more than anything in the world. My wife's infidelity won't change that even if one or both of them is not biologically mine. They've been my kids for 19 years and they will be my kids until I stop breathing. That's lovely. I don't think that this should create a seed of doubt. It's got to be hard. I mean, your perception of trust in this relationship has gone out the window, right? Like, I can understand why your head went there, but that's really sad. I think you'd know, right? Like, if you see these kids and you see yourself in them, I think you'd know. But who knows? She's lied to you for 20 years. Maybe she slept with that guy again. I don't know. Final edit. Hey all, I've been reading a bunch of the responses, but things are getting crazy and increasingly unhinged, so I probably won't be checking in more. Here are a few more answers to common questions I've seen. We were definitely exclusive dating at the time. First, dating culture was a lot different 20-ish years ago, and exclusive was kind of the default for most people. Second, we had a long and difficult discussion before she left for college and about continuing the relationship long distance. She specifically wanted to stay together and even joked about her dad coming after me if I started sleeping around with girls at my school.
Interesting.
This girl's crazy. She got her sticky little fingers all over your heart. Pull them off. Pull them off. That is a very, very important piece of information.
Yes, it is.
The fact that she was adamant that you two stayed together and that she even threatened that her dad would come find you and then does this with just a few mistakes, right? 10 guys is a few mistakes. I don't like it. Finally, at my senior prom, she was not able to attend and she was very upset when I proposed going with a platonic female friend of mine. As a result, I ended up skipping my prom and hanging out with her instead. While we never said the word exclusive, I think the above reasons, combined with the general relationship before she left, are enough to assume exclusivity. So she was like, oh, I can't go to your prom, so you can't go either? This girl sounds very manipulative, man. Very, 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 very cunning. She's a cunning little shark. Based on some comments here, I followed up with the friend that said I should have an honest conversation. She told me that 10 guys would be on the low end. That's what I said. And that her biggest concern was that there was apparently at least one pregnancy scare that I didn't know about.
No, God!
So she was sleeping around without protection. Or maybe she was and there was an accident. I honestly don't think that really changes much. It's less about the number for me and more about the fact that she seems incapable of recognizing why this was wrong or why I feel betrayed. That's exactly right. It's not about how many guys she slept with. It's the fact that she's not taking any accountability. And then she's gaslighting you into thinking that it's not a big deal. Thank you all for the helpful responses, even those that disagree with me. I'm shocked that there are some that disagree with you. I will still be open to therapy if she's willing, but I honestly feel like it would be more about us being successful co-parents and finding closure than saving our marriage. Okay. A lot to unpack here. Wow, I am so sorry that you went through this. At least your kids are old enough to understand. When my parents got divorced, I was about 19 and it was heartbreaking. But eventually the facade came down and I saw their relationship truly for what it was. And I began to understand why they did it. It may be hard on them at first, but over time they will understand. As they get older, as they get more mature, as they get into more mature relationships, they'll understand dynamics and really look back and see things through a different lens and be like, oh yeah, that was problematic. I think you're on the right track here. I don't know if I could be with someone who doesn't take any accountability and tries to gaslight you. Let's go back to the comments. If she wants to do the work to remain in your life in any capacity, that's up to you guys. You should absolutely do what you need to do to feel comfortable with your way forward. She robbed you of your agency for 20 years and then invited people who had violated you into your life. I don't blame you for feeling whatever way you do. Hope you and your children can navigate this as well as possible, and if there is a way that you can live happily in whatever capacity with your life, then I'm all for that too. Do what's best for you. How anyone else feels. Wishing you the best. OP responds, it would change a lot if I felt that she wanted to fix this. Throughout our conversations about it, she repeatedly dismissed my feelings and told me I was overreacting to totally normal behavior. She didn't show any regret or consideration for how it hurt me until she realized I was serious about divorce. Then she got defensive and angry. She didn't offer to fix things in any way until I started the paperwork and notified her that I had a lawyer. I think we can navigate being parents. Our kids are older and I've been putting away money for college post high school for a long time, so a lot of the custody and monetary issues that come up shouldn't be a big problem. We're also both financially stable and make good money. Okay, so the kids will be okay. That's good. I think anytime that you try to confront someone about doing something bad to you and they come back with being defensive and being hostile, it's a sign of emotional immaturity and a lack of awareness and an inability to take any accountability. If she said to you, hey, look, I did these things years ago. I will have to live with that for the rest of my life. I have so many regrets about it. And I promise you that I've been faithful since, and I will be faithful until we die. And I am so truly sorry that I hurt the man that I love the most in my life. That would be like very constructive and helpful, and that would help lay a foundation for rebuilding trust. But the fact that she just tries to gaslight you and says that, yeah, people do this. What do you mean? It's common. People cheat on their significant others in long distance relationships. Like everybody does it. And then gets mad at you and tells you that you're overreacting.
You keep saying that, but I find that very, very hard to believe.
Yeah. No. And I hope your kids can learn something from this too. Maybe they will. Your eldest is 19, as you said, and your youngest is 17, and they're about to enter college, right? This could be a great opportunity to teach them that relationships are sacred. It's all about trust. It's all about communication. And if you tell each other, hey, we're going to stay together long distance and we're going to be faithful to each other, then you have to stick to that. Find out if those kids are yours, man. If she had no respect for you in your LDR, she had no respect for you in your marriage. OP responded, I have some doubts about our marriage now, but those are my kids. My son looks like my younger clone, and my daughter also bears a huge familial resemblance. I will be honest, even if a DNA test showed zero chance they were mine, I would never ever say a damn thing about it, and I would still love them every ounce as much. That's nice. Don't bring the kids into this. This is between you and your wife. Don't let this seed of doubt creep into your mind. Regardless, you raised these kids, and I love that you see the fact that no matter what, they are still your kids. Being the recipient of a partner who cheated on you is tough. It kills your ability to trust someone. Hopefully you find another significant other. Hopefully you find another relationship where you can experience love and trust. But it's going to take a bit to build that confidence and trust back up, right? So given the fact that she cheated on you with 10 people that we know about, and her friend also said that it was probably more. She introduced you to these people when you went to go visit her as her friend and kept in contact with one of them for years to this day. And finally, her inability to take any accountability or show remorse. You are definitely not in the wrong. You are right. You should leave her immediately, get out of that dynamic as soon as possible, and get away from all of her friends as well, because if they even said that you're overreacting, they're wrong too.
Let's go to the next one.
Am I wrong for putting peanuts in my food and not putting an allergen label on it, knowing that the food thief is allergic? This is diabolical and I like it. So my office recently got a new hire, Omar. He's a young Muslim guy, fresh out of college, and ever since he was onboarded, my food has been going missing. Yeah, that's pretty easy math to figure out who that is. I mention his religion because I'm also Muslim, and it's hard to find halal food on short notice, and it's been really difficult not having food to eat because it's been stolen. My theory is that he stole my food because I'm the only obviously Muslim one in the office. I wear a hijab and have mentioned going to mosque, and he knows that my food is okay to eat. I've tried talking to him about this, but he always plays dumb and denies knowing anything about my missing meals. As the title says, Omar is allergic to peanuts. I love the stories where people put like X-Lax in their food. Then the person who's stealing their food ends up having like vicious diarrhea. That's pretty funny. This is pretty dark, but I kind of want to see how it plays out. On Friday, I brought leftovers, which included peanuts. I made sure to label the package clearly with my name, but I didn't think to include any label about it having peanuts in it. No one else in the office uses allergen labels for their food. It didn't even cross my mind, but it did. When I got to the fridge and realized my food was once again missing, I rushed to Omar's desk where of course I found him eating my food. And I told him that the lunch that he stole had peanuts in it. His eyes got really wide and he went for his EpiPen, and thank goodness he injected himself before the reaction got really bad. Oh God, this is kind of scary actually. One of my old friends and roommates in college was really allergic to peanuts, and there were a couple EpiPen incidents, and it's a really scary situation, honestly. I'm very grateful that I have no allergies. After Omar got done panicking about his reaction, he blew up at me. He said that I could have killed him, and I said that he wouldn't have been in danger if he wasn't a liar and a thief. He told me that it was my fault for not putting an allergen label on the packaging, and I said that I'm lactose intolerant, but I don't expect everyone to put labels on their dairy because I don't steal other people's food.
Good one.
God, maths are doing maths. Makes sense. He said that's different because milk won't kill me. And I said it was the same principle. HR has ruled in my favor, but now requires allergen labels on all foods. And the entire office is mad at me, not just for the inconvenience of the labels, but because I targeted Omar and tried to kill him. Now I feel bad. Am I in the wrong here? This is funny in principle, but in practice, it can be pretty dangerous. I don't know. I like the idea of maybe putting a laxative maybe in there, or like extreme hot sauce, like a comical amount of hot sauce, like ghost peppers and stuff, and then just see them struggling and be like, oh, what's wrong? You okay? Everything fine? Or like taking a shiza in the toilet, being like, hey, you good in there? You didn't happen to take any X-Lax? Put a peanut label on all your food, whether it has peanuts or not, and put peanuts in every other day just because. Just put a label on that says may contain something you're allergic to. Also, it isn't your food. Yeah. I used to work in like small offices, so I never had issues like this, but I've heard this is pretty common. What kind of dumb steals other people's food when he has an allergy that can kill him? Not the apple. Well, to be fair, he didn't know there were peanuts in it. But I always wondered this, right? Like, I don't have an allergy, but I feel like if I did, I'd be so scared. I would always ask people like, oh, can I have a bite of your cookie? Oh, wait, there's no like peanuts in it. I would be so overly cautious at restaurants. What the fudge? Your office is absurd. The kid stole food repeatedly and it caught up with him. Unless it's a shared food in a shared lunch, I don't understand why your personal lunch needs to be labeled. Just because it's stored in a shared space doesn't mean it's a damn free-for-all. Keep a private cooler bag to store your lunches if that makes you feel better. I feel like HR probably had to do something because there was a health issue. Like, this person could have died. He went into anaphylactic shock. So HR probably had to act. I'm kind of shocked that the whole office is kind of against you. It's probably just because they're annoyed that they have to put labels on their food, but like kind of ridiculous. Like, this is a circus. Yeah, stole her food and left her with nothing to eat multiple times. Oh my God. This is hilarious. This is the kind of thing that I would do. I once got fired for putting scorpion peppers in a sandwich that, as it turns out, my boss stole. Worth it. Damn right it's worth it. That's a lawsuit. How does he know you don't eat scorpion pepper sandwiches all the time? He stole from you and then fired you because the thing he stole wasn't to his preference. It's hard to believe that everyone is blaming you over the actions of a thief, not the a-hole, bad workplace. I'd keep putting peanuts in my food to keep that creep off of it. I don't think you're in the wrong. You confronted him multiple times about stealing your food and you were sure it was him and he did not stop. So you had to take matters into your own hands like a caped crusader vigilante.
Our job is finished.
I'm still thirsty for some more tea. Give me one more. Am I wrong for being blindsided by a friend's birthday dinner costing me $1,100? Birthday dinner for a friend costs $540 per person. Oh, let me zoom in a bit because I'm not very good at reading. Got to make it as big as I can because I don't have very good eyes.
I cannot see. I'm legally blind.
My wife and I were invited to a major city to celebrate a friend's 40th. There were 2 days in the schedule, but we could only attend one because of my work schedule. We went to a fancy dinner and expected it to be over the top and expensive because it's their 40th birthday and they have high-paying jobs and like to splurge.
I should have breathed.
We met everyone at dinner at a fancy restaurant and found out it was a family-style 6-course meal. Sounds expensive. When the check came, our friend's wife put it all on her card and we assumed the bill would be split up afterwards. We knew it would be expensive, but we're okay with it. Went out for drinks after, slept at our hotel, and drove back the next day. Yeah, I mean, like, it's gonna be expensive, a couple $100. Like, yeah, that's fine, right? Because it's your friend's 40th that you flew in for. Today, our friend's wife messages us that the total minus tax and gratuity split between the 13 of us was $540 per person. We figured on the high end, we'd spend maybe half that for both of us. We really thought more like $300 total for both of us based on the quality of the food. I'm pretty offended that it wasn't communicated ahead of time that this meal was going to be a mortgage payment. What do I do here? The fact that you flew into a different city for this guy's birthday and for his dinner, I feel like maybe the wife should have paid for it or they should have paid for it because you're paying for like hotel flights, or I don't know if you drove. I don't remember if you said anything like that. Like that's a lot of money already. I feel like they should have said something before, like you said, like $1,100. Are you fucking crazy? I would need proof before I paid $1,100 for dinner. I would for sure ask to see an itemized receipt because you never know. Also, you know what I freaking hate?
Go on.
I hate when I go out for dinner and I'm not drinking, but then all our friends get a bunch of cocktails and stuff like that. And then they want to split the bill evenly. And I'm like, I didn't even have any cocktails. And then it's such a stink. I don't want to deal with it. And so I ended up paying anyways. Fudge, it really bothers me. Or like, friends who order a really expensive bottle of wine and you don't have any of the wine, but they just order it thinking like, yeah, everyone will have like a glass, and then you're paying for it.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't like that. I don't like it at all. Yeah, I have a feeling the hosts ordered some expensive wine, which jacked up the price of the dinner. Definitely did, especially if it's their 40th. They're like, yeah, let's get like a nice Barolo from 1969.
Nice.
Or like a Camus. It's like a really expensive Cabernet. I'm not a huge wine drinker myself. It upsets my stomach. Yeah, call the restaurant or go online for a menu. Yeah, that's a good point. You should just call the restaurant and be like, hey, so my friend and I were here for like a birthday party. Like, what are your prices? Can you tell us? Is this like reasonable? Because like that is just absurd. I think like Charlotte and I were just away last weekend and we went to a really like expensive place. And we did like a prefixed menu for like $80 a person. $80 is a lot. Can you imagine paying $540? Jesus, did they raise the caviar themselves? I'm just guessing. I imagine caviar was there, which sounds really expensive. Was someone ordering $500 bottles of wine that only they drank? I would be asking to see the itemized total and I would split the family style food costs and pay for your specific beverages, but I would not pay a share of high-end alcohol that only some of the guests drank. Totally agree and totally what I just said, right? OP responded, I did see some bottles of wine come out. My wife and I had 2 cocktails each. Like, that's crazy. That is so crazy how much that is. Not wrong, not the a-hole. I don't know if things are usually different in the upper echelons of society, but to us peasants and peons, planning for expensive things means communicating accurate and prompt expected costs beforehand. Couldn't agree more. OP responded, the funny thing is that while these people are well off, I know people that have way more money. Wall Street, vacations in Italy, second home in New England, and would never assume that everyone in a party would be down for a $500 to $550 per person without discussing it first. That's really what should have happened. But then again, how are you supposed to know it was going to be that expensive? I would go to the website and look up the menu and how much everything was. Okay, we do have a couple of edits. Let's get to it. Edit 1. We expect to spend a lot of money going out with these friends. We've gone out several times where an evening costs us $250 to $300 per couple, but never anything like $1,100 just for dinner. Stop going out with these people. Jesus. Why don't you pitch a restaurant? It's called McDonald's. Literally take that $250 and cut a $0. I haven't been to McDonald's in a while, but you guys ever dip fries in a McFlurry? It's the best.
You are a bad boy.
Edit 2. Thanks everyone for the comments. This got a much bigger response than I thought it would. I want to respond to some common comments here. Don't know why I put the inflection on that. We truly did not expect the host to pay for dinner. Based on the previous events dinners with this group, we expected to pay for our own meal and drinks. When the bill came, the host, birthday boy's wife, grabbed the bill and paid it with her credit card. She probably got the points too. Slimy bugger. That Amex lounge that she's in, you're paying for that, greasy. But kind of a sick play, though, if you're doing that. Like, if you're the hero that throws down your card at a big dinner. We were surprised that it looked like she was paying. But now, a couple days later, she is sending out bills to the couples for their portion of an even split of the dinner. It was not discussed that there would be only one check for the group. Some of our other friends who came with us and were in on all the same communications leading up to this dinner were also completely surprised by the total amount of the meal. If it matters, they are very well off and still got sticker shock. Yeah, anyone would if it was $540 a person. This is validating for me because they've been with us in this group for many dinners with this couple and also did not expect this outcome. They got a bill for both nights that totaled just shy of $2,000 for food and drinks on tabs that were paid at the time by the host couple. That is insane. For those saying we should have asked ahead of time, I guess this is where I get hung up. We were anticipating a range based on many meals with this group, including birthday dinners. Why would we reach out to the host and ask, this isn't going to cost us more than $1,000, is it? When every past experience was substantially lower, 60 to 70% less. It's a good point. You shouldn't have to. I don't think it's crazy to assume that most of the time, meals will be under $400. $300 at the very most, right? So there's no way you could have predicted or expected that. We haven't asked for an itemized receipt yet, but looked up the cost of the family style dinner per person. Based on what we ate/drank, our total would come to right around $700. To be honest, I would have been surprised by that amount, but we're being asked to pay $400 more than that. And I think, as many have pointed out, we are getting charged for others' wine choices. That's what I thought too. We will either just send that amount or ask for an itemized receipt, as many have recommended. I believe our next course is, as many have recommended, to pay for what we had and distance ourselves from these people or just never accept another invitation. Yeah, seriously. Hey, we're going to go for dinner to this quiet little restaurant. Oh, by the way, it's $7,000 per person. Yeah, no thanks. I think you have a right to stand up for yourself and be like, hey, look, I'm happy to pay for our food, but this is kind of crazy. Like, can you show us, did you guys order a bunch of wine? Because we only had a couple cocktails each. Happy to pay for all the food and our cocktails, but this is just a bit of a stretch for us. I think that's like a fair thing to say, especially if you've known these people for a long time. Edit 3. I like this. Seems like we've got a spicy edit here. Edit 3. My wife contacted the restaurant and it turns out that there is a maximum person charge that works out to $530 after tax and gratuity for reservations the size of our group. This is $200 per person more than we consumed, and the host never told us about it, even when contacting us for payment. The host would have been aware prior to inviting us because she would have had to agree to it for the size of the group. The restaurant doesn't do reservations for that size party and has to make a special arrangement. Man, that changes everything. If she knew it was going to be that much, the fact that she didn't say that to you guys or mention that or be like, hey, just so you guys know, it's going to be a lot of money. This is it. Is that going to be okay with you? Or are you going to be comfortable shelling out that much money? It's kind of scummy in my opinion. That changes everything. Now you can for sure go after her and say, hey, look, you should have mentioned this to us. We had no idea it was this much money. This is a bit of a stretch for us. How about we pay you for what we ate? Minus a certain percentage or something. I'm not sure. But like, this is crazy, man. Without like not telling you is absolute bullshiza. $540 per person is send me a copy of the bill territory. 1000%. Unless you guys have really fallen out of step with your friends group's income, going from an average of $200 to $300 for a night out to $1,000 plus, even for a special event, seems insane. ETA, I would message the person in the group you are closest to, who isn't the birthday person or the person asking for money, and just feel the situation out. Keep it light, self-deprecating, etc. But gauge their response. If it's some comment about the economy these days, you are but if it's, oh my God, we were shocked too, I would use that energy to ask Money Friend for a receipt. Methinks you were subsidizing some horrific wine choices. OP responded, we did talk to another couple and they were also shocked. I've added it to the edit, which we read, how much they were billed by the host couple after the weekend since they attended both days. Not wrong. A bill that high should have been discussed before people went to dinner. Couldn't agree more. That's a lot of money for most people. So I have something to tell you. Come here. We have an update. Here we go. Okie dokie artichoke. Update. First off, if you're interested in the full story, please check the original post. We, my wife and I, wish we had done more research. Do you hear that whistle? Of course. We didn't, because we've gone to plenty of expensive, to us, meals with this couple from anywhere from $100 to $300, with $300 being the absolute most we've ever spent, and have an expectation that our friends would communicate if something was going to be substantially different than what we're used to. Our mistake. The majority of comments mirrored our feelings that this minimum or even the average ticket price of the restaurant should have been communicated by the host ahead of time, and that this lack of communication is bizarre and pretty tacky. Yes, there were lots of comments saying we should have looked up the menu, etc., and obviously in hindsight we wish we had, but the reality is that even if we had looked at the menu, this was, unbeknownst to us, a special event, and our host had selected a prefixed menu with a table minimum that they did not communicate to us or anyone else. Other guests in the group were just as surprised by the final amount. Many other comments said not to pay them at all, which I could not seriously consider. Even though I'm upset by the situation, I totally intended to pay our own way, just not to be stuck paying for other people's expensive tastes. Which is why we ended up texting the host that we were very surprised by the total price and asked to see a copy of the receipt. To her credit, she sent it right away. It confirmed the minimum price for the table and that others in the group had ordered very expensive wine and drinks that brought the overall bill up to and above the minimum. We added up our total, which hilariously comes to $666. So that's what we were sending them. Approximately $430 less than what they initially requested. Not sure where this leaves the friendship, but we won't be accepting dinner invitations anytime soon. My wife and I had a blast reading your responses and appreciate all of your perspectives. We'll be cooking dinner at home for a while. As would I. Maybe the occasional trip to McDonald's. I would have done the same thing. That's also hilarious that it came out to $666. I would politely say, look, we had 2 cocktails each, and had you communicated that this was going to be this expensive, we probably wouldn't have come. We are already spending so much on flights and hotel, and to have to spend another $1,000 on just a dinner is a little ridiculous, and some transparency would have been respected. At least she sent you the receipt and you saw the fact that someone else ordered a really expensive wine, which you didn't touch. So I'm glad that you did what you did. That's how I would have handled it as well. $666, mark of the feast. Interesting added information. I think what you did was fair. If people are ordering expensive drinks for themselves, not sure why that would be split. Definitely something that should have been communicated beforehand. I'm not paying for that wine. You order a $1,000 bottle of wine, I'm not paying any of that. Wow, this is so wrong in so many levels. Why wouldn't they tell you how pricey it was going to be? Are they kind of people who just assume that everyone has money like they do? Good for you for just paying what you consumed. I'd have done the same. That's total BS to split the bill evenly when some folks ordered super expensive wine and you didn't. I refuse to subsidize others' expensive tastes. Same here. Here. Okay, this is a question I had for myself. Well, don't keep us guessing. How was the food? I have never eaten anything even $50 for a meal. I'm hoping anything in the $600 range gave you the big oh? OP responded, the food was good. I've had better meals for under $200 though. It was surf and turf, so in my opinion, pretty hard to mess up. That's kind of disappointing. When you only ordered the chicken fingies in the house red? OP responded, favorite comment so far. And honestly, mine too. So given the fact that you flew all the way for this person's birthday party, they had a crazy expensive minimum spend, and the host didn't even tell you about it, I think you are definitely not in the wrong. Pay for something out of respect, but pay for what you ate and drank. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, you're gonna love this one. Come hang out with me in the comments, and of course, subscribe.